Well, so we've been driving around the Ford Endeavour in office for the last 2 months, and we've already kept the 2.2 litre version of this car, but we wanted to see how different is the bigger 3.2 litre version, and does it really make such a big difference in terms of the sheer power delivery. Remember, this one is a 197 bhp engine, while the 2.2 is about 158 bhp or close to that, so it's about 40 bhp of a difference. But in real world conditions, you'll only notice the difference once you're out on the highway, or if you're moving up the hills, pushing the car up those corners. That's the only area where you will truly be able to see a major difference. And we've of course driven this car up the hills as well. We've taken the 2.2 litre version to Dharamshala, and we've taken the 3.2 up to Kasauli. You can of course check out the links in the description below. But in terms of overall impressions, the Endeavour remains the best SUV that you can buy at this price point. Now, the engine on this car is inherently silent. It's a very quiet motor. The NVH levels on the Endeavour are very, very good. In fact, if you drive this car in the city only, you'll really enjoy it, because this car's responsiveness is very good. It's a very nice and responsive engine. It starts responding from a lowly 1700, 1800 RPM, which is very good for such a big diesel engine, because all other cars at the same price point start responding only once they hit about 2000 or 2100 RPM. So in that sense, the fact that this car's engine becomes very lively and very responsive around 1700 RPM really is a big boon, especially for people who drive in the city themselves. Now, in terms of fuel economy, which is really a matter of great concern for people who buy such big cars, the Endeavour 3.2 has been delivering about 10.5 kpl in the city if we are moving along. If we get stuck in bad traffic, then it drops to about 9.8 or 9.9. But even then, these are pretty good figures and pretty respectable figures for a car which is so heavy and also has so much power on offer. And when you take it out on the highway, you get a very consistent 11.5, including the AC as well as 2 or 3 occupants on board. So these are pretty good and respectable figures, and I would say that if you are in the market for a car, for an SUV which offers you relatively low running costs, then you should definitely check out the Endeavour, because there are some good deals on it, and you can always trust the fuel economy on this car. Now, in terms of the overall driving dynamics of the Endeavour, I have to say that in the 2.5 months that we've kept this car, it really has been a joyous car to drive. Every time I've stepped inside this car, it really has put a smile on my face. And if you speak Hindi, then this is the car जो आपके मुंह पर रौनक डाल देगी. आप इस गाड़ी को चलाने के बाद बिल्कुल फेस के ऊपर एक रौनक, एक चमक के साथ उतरेंगे. It really is that kind of a car. It really feels very nice and very happy to drive. Yes, it's a car which will put a smile on your face, and you'll end up feeling very content that you got the right SUV. Now, why do I say it's a nice car to drive? Well, simply because the steering wheel on this car offers you very good weight distribution. It's neither too heavy that you start feeling tired after driving it for about 30 minutes, and neither is it too light that you start feeling nervous, especially when you're on the highway. So it's got the right amount of weight in it. When you're on the highway, you get good feedback. When you're up the hills, it gives you very genuine and very, very direct feedback from the steering wheel. It's a very direct feeling, very sporty steering wheel, which is something that no other SUV at this price point offers. And in fact, very few SUVs, even a segment or two higher, even in the premium brands, offer. If you go ahead and buy maybe a BMW X3 or maybe an X5, that's the kind of car that will offer you the same kind of steering feedback. But to be honest, those cars are very expensive, and this one is relatively cheaper, so you get the same kind of response from the steering. But apart from the steering, the chassis also is nicely balanced. The suspension setup is something to be felt, because if you drive this car around town, you'll suddenly feel as if the municipal corporation has done all its duties perfectly, and the roads really are smooth and very well paved, and everything is hunky-dory. But to be honest, it's not the roads, it's the suspension and the tires on the Endeavour which make the road feel very smooth. No matter what speed you're driving, this car will keep you very comfortable. If you're driving at slow city speeds and you're negotiating those rumble strips, those badly patched up roads, especially in the monsoons, or even those bad speed breakers, this car will really not transfer much into the cabin. And at faster speeds, it really has a sense of authority, and it really does feel a whole lot more stable than your ex-girlfriend ever did. It really feels reassuring, very solid, and very stable out there on the highway. Now, special mention has to be made about the long features list on this 3.2-liter version, and I really am a big fan of this sunroof. And luckily and thoughtfully, Ford now gives the same sunroof even in the less expensive and less powerful 2.2-liter version, and that really is the car that I would go for. And why do I say that? Well, simply because the 2.2-liter version of this car offers you about 90% of the power that the bigger engine does. And to be honest, if you're not going to take your car on off-roading surfaces, then the 2.2-liter is all the power that you need. But more importantly, it costs only about 75% of what the top of the line 3.2 does. So in terms of value for money, it is very good. What's also good is in fuel economy, because in terms of efficiency, you can expect about 10 to 15% higher figures than this version of the car. So that's a bit of a bonus as well. Well, so overall, I've really enjoyed my time with the Endeavour, and this is one of the few cars that I really do miss every time it goes back. I really missed the 2.2 when I went back, and I'm definitely going to miss 3.2 once Ford calls it back into its stable. But as I just said, this is by far the best SUV at this price point, and even if you are in the market for maybe a more expensive German luxury brand, then you should definitely reconsider your decision. Save some cash, go to a Ford dealership, drive this car. It feels luxurious on the inside. It has a long list of features which will definitely not keep you bored, and it really has a powerful and very punchy diesel engine. In fact, it has two options in the diesel engine department as well. So it is a very good value for money deal. It's solidly built, and as I said, it just feels like the quintessential SUV out there. It really is the best SUV that money can buy at this price point. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.